All right.
For the patrons.
Exactly.
Hey, are we recording on our own end?
No, you don't have to. But I do have to start the recording on my end, so I have to do this in two places now. So I am now recording, so we're good in that way. Now that we're all here,
Cool.
You got your DAR
streaming. I don't have a DAR. Remember, it got decommissioned. It broke. So we have the Twitch stream as a backup to these recordings. Okay. Yeah, and the YouTube stream, all that. So I'm just gonna double check that that like Moo Cow's working on the stream. Womp.
Well, it doesn't say that you're live yet.
Okay, awesome. That does work.
Twitch.
Okay.
Go to your channel.
Yeah, it should. We should be
live
there.
Now.
We're live now.
Yeah, just no notification.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, and I heard that the WOM come up. Okay, cool.
Yes, I can hear it myself. That's a bit distracting.
Well, don't have the stream up then, or mute the stream. You don't need to have that up.
Yeah, that could be it.
No, it's muted.
And you heard it? Okay. Oh, let me try this again. Hey, Ashley.
I heard it.
It was coming through my speakers.
So I heard it. I'm supposed to hear it though. Are any of you here?
I hear a dog.
Wow.
I hear a dog.
Oculus sounds weird.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
Okay. Nate, do you have a hard stop time?
Yes. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, my kids are here and everything, and
so if you have to get up for something,
well, yeah, no, but I don't think I'll have to get up for anything. But one may come in and tell me something while I'm on mute. But that's about it.
That's totally fine. Do you have? So we are culling down to just one like and a classic maker, and one dislike and a tragic maker.
One like.
Is that
okay.
good for you?
Yeah, no, that's whatever. Yeah.
All right. And do you have a spiritual speculation question or topic?
I have not thought of one yet, but I'll try and think here while
we have three already. So if you don't, if one comes to you, feel free.
Your spirituality, Nate. That's what it is.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Really, what it comes down to. No, that's understandable.
Hello, Dale and Ashley, and let's see anyone else here in chat. Oh, this is playing the wrong one. No wonder I'm not going to see it. Darn it.
Those are some really cool backgrounds, Dallas and Paul. I like those.
Why, thank you.
What about my mask, Nate? Do you like my mask?
I like the
it's fine.
The homeless tent you're in.
You know, it's a green screen, Paul. It's not a homeless tent.
Oh, I thought you were outside camping.
Oh my gosh.
Your mask looks very nice. Very nice, Francis.
It looks very
Thank you.
CG. Nice and smooth.
Oh my
I like
word.
Drew's Sora's keyblade in the background. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you not like your keyblade in the background, Drew?
Oh, I like it. It's just I wish it was a nicer one, even though you can't really tell how cheaply
it
made it is.
It's fine
on the stream. It's just when I look at it, I go, oh yeah, that's definitely a very cheap plastic, made in China, Halloween costume keyblade.
I was like, oh crap, did I bring up a sore subject? Maybe he doesn't like the keyblade.
No. I love Kingdom Hearts.
I hate this thing that I have up in my house.
It's just a running gag in the show that I have a Kingdom Hearts connection every week.
That's awesome. I hate this thing. It's the bane of my existence.
Right.
It's up there as a reminder to, I don't know.
Never again. Shop at Wish.
My word. Hold on, guys.
Amazon, technically, but whatever.
You lost
a reminder that Chain of Memory should have never been made.
Oh, whoops.
Amen to that, brother.
Sorry about that. Okay, so let me actually make this full screen. All right, so that's better.
No, we don't know what he's doing either, folks. So just,
So I was trying to essentially get my chat to work. Hey, Star Fox. So I'm only I didn't foresee this. I'm only gonna be able to see Twitch chat, unfortunately. So be aware of that.
Yeah, we can't even see any of the chat in Restream.
Okay. Are you
pop up the chat so I can see it?
Normally able to?
Is there chat going on in Restream?
No, there isn't. That's what I'm saying. Usually
it's
there
on
is.
like the Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you won't be able to see. Yeah, that's right. You'll have to go to Twitch or YouTube to see the chat. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Traded your ninja gear for Batware.
Yeah, Dale. Whatever.
Yeah.
And yes, Paul's here with the back karaoke. Okay. Okay, I think we're all ready. Let me double check about the notes. Make sure we got everything.
Wait, are we
here.
doing the top 2 or top 3?
Top two, Paul?
Okay.
And did I get
Choices.
Pop-out
Okay.
set. Yay.
Yep.
Where
Okay.
is the pop-up?
I popped it out.
All right.
Nice.
So
It's
Pop it in the
hidden
locker.
over there. Okay. Now
All
I
right.
can close.
Give
that,
me
and I've got chat window.
a
Awesome.
thumbs up if you are all ready to go.
We haven't practiced yet, but okay.
I know. We're good.
All right.
Do I
Okay.
have anything in this thing?
No, it's just me,
No.
Paul, and Nate.
Okay.
All right. And though I will credit Drew for coming up with this idea. So it was awesome that he came up with it. Thank you, Drew, for putting this out
Oh,
there.
you're welcome.
I just adapted
worries.
it. All right. So,
I'm gonna have a dog for the practice, but not for the real thing.
okay. All right. That's great. All right. Here we go. It could be any one of them, but which one? Which
Doesn't sound like
ones?
Commissioner Gordon.
It could be any one of them. It could be any one of them. He's like older sounding.
Oh yeah.
It could
Okay,
be any
Gandalf.
one of
That's
them, but
fine.
which ones?
I'm not doing my Gandalf. This is my Gandalf. It could be any one of them, but which one? Which ones?
Pretty geeky. What happened to me on that ladder?
You mean where there's geeks, there could be geek devotions?
But wait, it happened at C. C for Cellcast.
Yet, that diverse shark on my leg was toppling the bat patriarchy.
Stunning and brave. Oh, the thought strikes me. So dreadful, so scarily dare I give it utterance.
The three of them, their forces combined, reviewing my movie.
Holy nightmare!
No time to horse around. Okay. So, toppling the
Cut
back.
it, print.
No.
fix it in post.
You have the dog barking still. I can't fix that in
Adds
post.
flavor.
Yeah,
Some
It's
days you just
commission-
can't get rid of a dog.
Hey,
it's Commissioner Gordon's dog.
Hey,
What do you
Dale,
want?
Dale put it out there. It's Ace the Bat Dog.
Yes, that is
There you
Ace the
go.
Bat Hound.
There you go.
Ace, nice.
All right, so we're gonna actually try this for realsies now, and just go into it. We're just gonna
We
go.
already have an Edna mode.
What? What about Edna mode?
You already got one Edna mode.
No, this doesn't count. This doesn't count
Yeah,
as
you
an
asked
Edna
if
mode.
we were all ready. All right.
We gave thumbs up. My thumb was up.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I decided not to make you eat a bean after 7 Ednas like I thought about.
Oh my goodness!
I do still have all the stuff for it.
Does
Good
that mean
for
that
you,
he
Drew.
needs to make up for past grievances.
Who needs to make up for past grievances?
You
For-
eating the beans for the Ednas.
No, I don't need to. No, I don't have to. We're not talking about this right now.
Handful.
All right.
Okay, guys, let's go. All right. Let's
Yeah, Ace is
just-
still
Go where?
having
The
an
bathroom?
attack. Hold on.
Okay. Not to
You want to come back to this? Oh wait, he'll actually be done in like 30 seconds.
Okay. How
What's
do you know?
happening in
Dog
30
barking
seconds?
Yeah.
Time?
Okay, he's
What's,
done.
what's happening in 30 seconds, Paul?
What
My
did you
wife
do, Paul?
is leaving and going out to have a dinner and a movie, celebrating, and he wants to go, and he's not being. taken with me, so-
Okay. All right.
If you have the science to make a dog stop barking just in 30 seconds, you are in the wrong profession, my friend.
Yeah, as you can hear, there's no dog barking now.
Yes, we can
There
hear
you
that.
go.
And
That
Geek
or you're doing
Devotions.
Something illegal.
Geek Devotions. There's going to be 0 Ednas because this is a chip-shaped bat operation. All right, here we go.
Right.
I'm saying with all 4 of us crazy goofs, it's going to be at least 7.
We're going to start. If I could expand this window. Why aren't you letting me expand? I just want to make the window bigger, please.
Hi all, it's your friendly neighborhood calculus, back again with another spin of the Wheel of Morality.
That's not going to distract me at all.
Morality,
Hold on,
012.
guys.
Tell us a lesson.
I've
of
been
life.
move spinned by Geek Devotions.
Bat move.
That was a bat move. That's
Moral
bat
number
calculus.
123.
There
This
is a bat
moral
count.
is from Celeste.
Why am I doing
Never
this?
pick up a duck
Why am I letting
in
you
a
guys do
dungeon.
this?
Sure.
Lack discipline.
Maybe because they come with a big bill.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3,
Wait for it.
2. It could be any one of them. But which one? Which ones?
Pretty geeky what happened to me on that ladder.
You mean where there's geeks, there could be geek devotions?
But wait, it happened at C. C? C for Cellcast.
Yet that diverse shark on my leg was toppling the bat patriarchy.
Stunning and brave! Oh, the thought strikes me. So dreadful, I scarcely dare give it utterance.
The 3 of them, their forces combined, reviewing my movie.
Holy nightmare!
No time to horse around on this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew, distinctions, scanning for Batman, the movie, 1966. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Bat Interrupter Powers.
Holy team up. I'm glad we have our super friends with us on this one.
We do indeed. For this discussion of the film Batman the Movie, we welcome back aboard a great crew complement of culture boxers. We have ship's historian Drew Dodgen from the Cellcast. Welcome, Drew.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy. We have clergy officer Dallas Mora from Geek Devotions.
What's going on, yo?
What's going on, Dallas? And we have entertainment officer Nate Henderson from the Staying and Brave podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Hello. Thanks for being had. That's not what I wanted to say.
Nope,
This got awkward. This fits perfectly for the Stunning and Brave podcast.
Oh my God.
it does actually.
Anyway.
Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, no problem. Now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, flubs and all, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Batman the Movie?
All right, Batman was released in 1989, and it stars Michael Keaton, and it was directed by Tim Burton. The movie made a bunch of money, and yeah. So I didn't look up the specs for it, but if you need more details, I can.
Well, so no, I want all the details because apparently you want to do the wrong Batman movie again. How about
you said the Batman movie?
No,
That's
Batman the movie, not just Batman. Like the movie is part of the title. From 1966.
Oh, 66.
66.
So.
Oh.
All right.
You
That
know
one
the
was
golden
released
era?
July 30th of 1966. It runs an hour and 45 minutes. It is rated PG. Weird. I have all the technicals for that one. It was directed by Leslie H. Martinson. It was written by Lorenzo Semple Jr. and William Dozier, with characters created by Bob Kane and a couple other people. And with lead stars being Adam West, Burt Ward, Lee Merriweather, and a few others you may and may not recognize.
Indeed.
The music was composed by Nelson Riddle. And are you ready? Sorry.
Riddle. The Riddler.
Yeah, that got me. Okay, you ready for the box office trivia?
I'm ready. Drew, Nate, and Dallas, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyone watching live, feel free to join in as well. Go for it, Paul.
Okay. Batman the Movie, 1966, was made for about $1.5 million and earned about $4 million at the box office. Given this and the fact that it was released theatrically in 1966, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the movies released in 1966? And because it's 66, we'll go with the top 66.
Drew, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with 5.
5. Dallas?
Oh. This is the middle of Batmania, so I want to go 10.
10. How about you, Nate?
I'll trail. I'll go 11, Bob.
$1.
Nice.
$1. I'm going to go 50. And let's see. And Dale guesses 15. Neko guesses 8. All right, so you guys are giving this a lot of credit, but let's see who's right. Let it be me.
All right.
Go for it, Paul.
Well, according to the ultimatemovierankings.com, and it's hard to come up with these box office stuff before 1980.
Sure.
According to them, it is number 60.
How? Well, I mean, when you have the keen bat instincts that I have, yeah, I mean, that's just goes without saying. Oh, and Ashley did guess 48, so not quite as good as me though, Ashley. So, anyway, not to toot my own bat horn, but thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
Brace yourselves for big news. The biggest.
Holy Hollywood, it's here! Batman the movie! Starring Adam West as the Caped Crusader and Burt Ward as Robin the Boy Wonder. With the original Bat villains. Bat Peril, Bat Boats, Bat Bombs, Bat Gadgets, Bat Bits, and Bat Surprises.
And that's just a sample of the exciting exploits ahead in our first feature motion picture.
Batman!
Yes, the first feature motion picture, indeed. But did anything feature in our memories for Batman the movie? Let's find out in our memory mind meld synopsis for this film. Holy Roads Gallery?
That's
Okay.
what people put.
All
That's
right.
what our memories
Of the bat, man, that interstate merging with that highway and that through street, it's amazing. All of Batman's villains have teamed up to take over the world. What? With a whiskey maker. Starting by dehydrating the United Nations into a colorful dust. It's a good thing Adam is Batman, a.k.a. Adam Wee is Batman, a.k.a. Bruce Wayne. And then there's Robin, a.k.a. Who Cares? Together they fight against the villains of Gotham City in their totally tricked out 60s Batmobile. Along the way, they fight the Latin Joker and beat up Rocky's elderly coach. Come on, Rock. Holy heartbreak. Miss Kika is Catwoman, and a guy who likes question marks in there somewhere too. But Batman's biggest foe of all, angry sharks. Good thing Batman uses a radio transmitter to blow up the shark. Discovering the League of Evils destroy plans to dehydrate their henchmen and rehydrate them in the League of Nations building. Batman uses his magic rehydrating gun to bring the world leader dust back to life as actual leaving people speaking the wrong languages and saves the day.
all over the place.
That, I mean, yeah, all that was sort of like right, but not really. Some of that order was wrong. And Rocky's coach wasn't in this. I don't know what you're talking about. So obviously we were decepted. But based on those memories as flawed, so flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Nate this time. What was your prediction for Batman the movie?
I predicted tragic.
Tragic.
Whoa.
Dallas.
I predicted classically nostalgic.
What?
So so nostalgic then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dallas throwing a curveball.
Drew, right. Drew, how about you?
I predicted classic.
Classic. Paul.
A little background from me. I have watched this, not exaggerating, about a dozen times.
Oh my gosh.
And all of that probably in the first 20 years of my life. And it's probably been about over 20 years since I've seen this.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm guessing before watching it, I guessed it would be classic.
Classic. And
Same.
yes, I got that from you, Drew. I got that. Oh, you mean in your
I
first
mean, everything else he said.
Oh, okay.
Me.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Exactly.
This was my Batman before animated series. So.
Gotcha. And everything Nate said is same for me in that it's a tragic prediction.
Tragic.
Yeah. So let's see if wiser minds prevail. But before we, that is to say, the predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Batman the movie, if there was anything. Let's spin up our
Best three.
Best three things are top two things, as the case with this many people. So let's start with I'm gonna throw my own curveball and have Paul start us off. What's something you really liked about this film?
Okay, I love the plot idea of kidnapping Bruce Wayne as bait to trap Batman.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I feel like I've seen that in a Superman movie. Did they do something like that in Superman?
It may have been done several times before, but just that concept I think is really good.
Okay, cool. So even though did you see? Was this the first time you've seen that concept?
Look, I'm getting so old. Obviously, it's not the first time I've seen this, so I don't know if I've seen it or not. But I like that idea.
Okay, Nate, you're old too. What's something you like?
Dang.
Oh wow! Look at the time. I have to jump off.
Holy ages of that, man.
Sorry.
Have fun filling this spot, Francis.
Oh God.
It's turning out to be more and more like Singing the Brave all the time.
Oh my gosh.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I liked this thing was obviously done on a shoestring budget.
Yeah,
but
it felt like it.
But it was a labor of love, you could tell.
Yes.
But I liked the vehicle makeovers.
Oh, okay.
Because all they did was they took a 60s car, or at least a version of it. You know, they kind of, you know, manipulated some things on it. They put some fancy paint on there. They put some doodads here and there.
Exactly.
And they did that for every single vehicle they dealt with. Like the Batcopter was literally just a helicopter in the 60s that they put paper mache wings on. and they're like, look at that, that's the Batcopter. Like nowadays when you have a Batman movie, it's like everything is almost is like designed from the ground up. Like it has to look like you have the tumbler and
and the Batman Begins.
And, you know, you have to have kind of this creative way of having like a Batmobile or something like that. Now it's like, nope, just go down to the local Ford dealership, or I don't even know what model of the car.
I want to say it was a Chrysler, but
it's a Lincoln Futura.
Oh, Lincoln Futura. Okay,
thank you. Lincoln Futura. Okay, so go down to the Lincoln dealership.
It was a concept car. It wasn't available at your local dealership.
We're gonna slap some paint on it. We're gonna put a blowtorch in the back and call it the Batmobile, and that was perfectly fine, and everybody liked that. So I liked the vehicle makeovers of just regular run of the mill stuff that they had in the 60s.
Awesome.
So, it's good.
Very cool. And thank you for
oh, is that Commissioner Gordon?
Hold on.
Meanwhile,
all right, fine. That's an end mode. All right, is that what you're wanting? Golly sakes.
One.
Yeah, exactly. One. Even though it says two, it is one. Okay, and since we're in end mode, Nate, I thank you for taking that crack. I don't see you as that old. I think you might even be same age as Paul or younger. I forget actually.
Oh, I don't think we have to analyze it.
I just feel I hope you don't feel like I really think you're old. I don't see you as old.
Dude.
Okay.
Dude, come on. Do you listen to our podcast?
Yes,
do you know
I listen
to
to
things we say to
yes,
each other?
I know.
That's
why I feel
so very tame.
It just was. That's the segue that stuck out of my head.
I'll be perfectly honest. I am old. I feel it every day.
And I'm the one that can't remember anything.
You bunch of old farts.
Yes. You'll get there someday, Drew.
Yes. I think I am the youngest on this podcast.
I think maybe like you're 33.
35.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to analyze this.
Well, whatever. Okay, fine.
Let's have a breakdown. Go back to our bet analyzer.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let's all have a midlife crisis
right
now.
We gotta do a privilege check right here. This is turning into Stand Brave right now. And apparently it's already that. So this week I got to eat some
RRP.
It's like, do we all realize we're middle-aged men talking about Batman on a podcast? Is that what just happened right now?
I got
like,
no
you want to
shame
talk about a midlife crisis? My gosh.
I don't know. This just sounds like a big privilege check to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I have the privilege to talk about Batman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much.
Dude, I've been excited about this all week.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, guys. Okay. Back
Nico's
to it.
like, I'm 18.
By the way, I saw Dapperman come in. Hey, Dapperman. Let's see, anyone else that I'm missing? Thank you all for being here. Sorry, I'm just sort of like not focusing on chat, trying to reduce the number of edit modes. But back to it here. So we're gonna go with probably Drew next. Okay. All right, let's go to Drew next. What's something that you liked about Batman 1966?
I absolutely love Nelson Riddle's compositions for this film.
Oh, okay.
Because I am a big fan of, let's just have the most ridiculous, over-the-top kind of music in your film with all the different things. But my favorite has been and always will be the scene of Batman running down the pier with the bomb, and the composition just cuts out long enough for you to hear the tuba playing, bringing in the sheaves.
Yeah.
Before it goes back, and I'm annoyed that on the soundtrack you don't actually get to hear those instruments. It just cuts to silence for a couple seconds.
Oh, really?
Back in. It's like,
oh,
no,
interesting.
Why don't you play that as part of it?
Right.
But that. This whole soundtrack is one of my favorites, and I just enjoy it.
Okay.
I love campy music like this.
Oh, all right.
I'll admit it's camping, but I still love it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
It has its place.
Dallas, was the music something that you also liked? Or
It was. I was about to say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like surf rock. I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Is
I
that
didn't
what
grow
this
up-
is?
I mean, yeah, it's surf rock.
Oh, okay.
Like,
See, I
I
thought it
grew
was
up listening
jazzy.
to the oldies station.
Mhm.
Well, there was some jazz in it too. And so like this was the music I listened to all the time because that's what my mom showed me. And so for me, this is like I love this music, and so I have like a lot of nostalgia memories to this music. But since Drew took it, it's all good.
My apologies, Dallas.
Jeez,
No,
Drew.
I love-
Gosh.
I love the just the absurd jokes they made. And where like there's just this absurd let's stop and like make a public message of support the police type of things, and because like it was a pseudo commentary of the comic code at the time and how ridiculous things were with like, we have to put a positive message on it. It was like it was ridiculous in comic books at the time, and this whole thing was almost the whole Batman series was a kind of a spoof and a kind of a jab at how ridiculous things were, and they were funny to me. So that's one of my things.
Nice. So something that I always have appreciated that is comical, like you were saying, Dallas, but it's not only in the movie, but it's also in the series. But I just have always thought it was a neat idea, and I always felt it's well executed, is the onomatopoeias on screen. And you don't get a lot of that in this. It's only sort of that last bit, that last fight on the Penguin submarine, which I also liked. But I just like seeing the wab. The wab, the whap, boom! all the different ones. Even my kids, I watched this with my kids, and they enjoyed that as well. So that's something that I liked, were those on-screen things, even though they were pretty simple and there wasn't a lot of them. I still really enjoyed that aspect. But now let's get into the things that we enjoyed the most. Now let's get into the things we enjoyed the most about Batman, the 1966 version. And I'm going to go back to Dallas. What's your favorite thing about this film?
My favorite thing about the film is what they put on the front end, where they're kind of going over the brick walls. And there was this message to the viewer, and it was basically saying this is dedicated to people who just love the ridiculous and they love the campiness of things. This was a love letter to people who just loved that kind of thing.
Was that the stuff on the walls, like as the okay?
I know it's a movie, but you had to read it.
The acknowledgement.
Yeah, it's like subtitles but bigger.
Yeah.
But like legitimately, like this film was dedicated as a kind of a love letter to people who just love the genre, love the campiness of it, and when it set the tone for. I think it sets the tone for everyone who watches it today. Back then, people knew what they're getting into. This is at the end of season 1 of Batman. They knew what they were walking into. Today, though, that opening sequence sets the tone for the entire movie. That modern audiences can go, okay, we can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things
it sets
the.
Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say, yeah, it sets the tone just like naming llamas and stuff. Let's go to Nate next. What's something you really like? What was your favorite thing about this Batman iteration?
My favorite thing was the one thing I remembered from when I was a kid, and I watched it with my dad in the 80s at the time. And the only thing I remembered was Batman just beating the crap out of a shark. And that was like, I remember back then just thinking, oh, that's so fake, but that's so cool how they like just had him just wailing on a shark. And just, it's because it happens at the beginning of the movie, and it really just gives you, if you didn't already know what you were in store for, like that right there was what you're gonna get like for the remainder of the movie, as far as like ridiculousness, but still
pretty
kind
much
of fun. And I love the fact, and I paused it when I was just watching it earlier today, when Robin has to choose the repellents that he's using.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like they have multiple canisters lined up, and like I was reading the names, and I was like, Barracuda. Okay, I can understand that. I mean, who knows when you encounter a Barracuda that often, but okay. Manta Ray. Yep. Just ask the Irwin family how bad those guys are. And Whale. Like Whale, the peaceful giants of the sea. Like what are you going to need?
Sperm whale or killer whales, maybe.
Well, when the Penguin weaponizes a whale to attack Gotham City,
okay,
good point.
Legitimate threat.
Ask Pinocchio. He could have definitely used that.
You heard of Monstro?
Ask Noah.
I didn't consider the Penguin weapon. That's a good point.
Yeah,
yes, he has the capability of doing that. So okay, that makes sense.
He's got exploding sharks and exploding octopuses. I mean,
okay, but
why can't he weaponize a giant blue whale?
But Drew, what was the explosion of awesome for this movie for you?
Oh my word! It has to be our rogues gallery of villains.
The highways and byways, all the pavements.
I'll admit I can't spell sometimes, but the rogues gallery of you got Burgess Meredith as the Penguin chewing scenery. Yeah, you got Cesar Romero there with his makeup over his mustache chewing on the scenery. You've got Frank Gorshin, the very best Riddler who's ever been on TV. Fight me. Yeah. I mean, if it weren't for Frank Gorshin, playing the Riddler, we literally would not have the Riddler in the upcoming Batman movie because Riddler only appeared 3 times prior to the show. Yeah, in the comics. He was really not a popular villain.
Oh, really?
Batman 66.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then you got Lee Merriweather acting like a stinking cat, who came in like almost at the last minute because Julie Newmar, who played Catwoman in the first and second seasons, for whatever reason, could not be in the movie.
Yeah,
she was booked doing another movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And they are all on screen throughout the entire thing, having the time of their stinking lives.
Yeah,
and I love every minute they're on screen.
Here.
And I especially love the fact that Penguin's line about every one of them has a mother was ad-libbed.
Oh, cool.
Was it really? That was a great line.
Every place I looked at, including the commentary for this thing, said, that was ad-libbed.
And
I
go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Paul, before you interrupted me with your wanting to add on. Jeez, okay, here we go. That is pretty much a mirror of my, very strongly related to my classic maker. Okay. And it's more so just the interactions between all the villains. I thought they're not the henchmen that sort of just stood there like bumps on like, oh yeah, sure. Okay, dehydrate me. Yeah. But the main villains, Penguin, Joker, etc. I thought is great seeing them interact with each other and not always cooperate but sometimes cooperate, and I just thought they did a really great job. Yeah. So and Paul, that was.
I also love Penguin being scared of Catwoman's cat Hecate because he's a bird. He's scared of cats.
Oh, I didn't get that. Okay, that
why
makes
the
sense.
other two are scared of the cat, I have no idea. But
yeah, especially when she just stands back there and goes during the fights. Yeah. Okay, what are you gonna say, Paul?
Yeah, the
Well,
villains
yeah,
in this
right.
really make this
in
movie.
this time. So whatever.
I'll tell you what, each one of them is so good. They could have only have one of these villains, but to have all four, it's just magical.
And I will say, it seems like in most modern superhero movies, like the first outing, they'll have like one, maybe two villains, and they do well. But when they start adding like Spider-Man 3, when they add like so many villains, it just goes, it just crashes and burns. This seems to actually be a bit more cohesive in that way.
Yeah, this movie, I don't know how they did it. This movie does it right. All the other movies that you're talking about, I agree, it doesn't work that well when you add more and more villains.
Yeah.
But this one, if you're gonna add villains, this is the way to do it.
Yes.
Well, I think they were all interacting with each other so closely.
Yeah.
That's why it worked.
Mhm.
If you've got movies that have a villain out here and a villain out here and an encounter here, you have to try and tie those narratives all together somehow.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
sometimes the villains aren't all working together. This is one where they all had a very clear mission and they were all working together, and the dialogue between them was funny and entertaining, and so I think that's why it worked.
Absolutely.
And it helps that these villains, because of the nature of the show, don't have this super deep backstory you have to go into. They're villains to be villains. They're just there to commit crimes. That's what they are.
Yeah, and same thing with the heroes. You don't need to know their backstory either.
Right. The campiness of the movie and the series is what allows the cohesion to work well. It's like,
that's true.
We're just here to tell a fun story. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you don't need, you don't have to watch the whole first season to have a backstory of people. I think a lot of movies
good, considering for many years, because of legal reasons, you couldn't watch any of the show.
True
you
story.
could only watch the movie. So
interesting.
Like that's the problem with the modern movies, is they're trying to build these, like Drew was saying, these intricate backstories to all these characters and make you feel sympathetic for why they're bad guys. Like this was a time period where I'm a bad guy because
I am.
Yeah. That's
simpler times.
Tell a story.
Yes.
Indeed. Telling a story. In fact, here's a story of something else I like. Dang it!
That's a great story,
really
Francisco.
When you're saying this is a story, I really go of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
No, I knew I forgot something, and I know what I was going to put in here.
So sad and photograph. All right, sorry.
I absolutely love her.
Don't look at my screen, by the way, everyone who's watching at home. Don't look at my screen.
Don't look at me.
I hate to tell you this, Francisco, but I'm staring right at you.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I see you.
Yeah, thanks. Might as well be Paul saying chapstick. All right. Let me put this in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's from Mothman Prophecies.
To interrupt this stream of Francisco to bring you the wheel
I'm being
of
fastidious.
morality.
Who spin me?
Yeah.
Wheel of morality.
I don't know.
Get to
Tell us the lesson that'll make us moo.
No.
Moral number 76. This utterly amazing moral comes from Ashley. Spare
Hold on, guys.
yourself the torture and go with easy mode.
Out of curiosity,
I suppose
which
you
one
could
is
if
it?
you
'Cause
want
I
to.
can't hear it.
It's
Right.
the Ashley
76.
easy mode one. All right.
Okay.
All right. Something else I liked. Untold Podcast. The Untold Podcast is a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Check out the Untold Podcast at untoldpodcast.com to listen and leave them a review on Apple Podcasts.
That's great, Francisco, but what does the Untold Podcast have to do with Batman 1966?
I have a guess.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a guess if
Okay.
I can do it.
What's your guess?
Would it be because he's the only person in the culture box who's not represented in tonight's
Pretty much. That's the reason. So, Nathan, we wish you well. You have a new member of your family. So we praying you have a good time, and I don't know if that's the right way to put that, but we're praying for you and wishing your family well. Okay. I was reacting to something that I just realized none of you are hearing, so I have to cut that okay out.
Good luck with that.
Okay.
That was like right following.
No, right?
I'm guessing there must have been a womp cow.
Or just put this over it.
Yeah. Don't.
I should do that. But Paul, okay, so there wasn't really a connection. How about some trivia, though, guys? Would you like some trivia from Batman 66? All right. Did you all realize that this film was not theatrically released in Spain until 1979, 13 years after its premiere?
What?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew that.
So my question to you guys is...
No wonder the Spaniards hate us.
My
For
question.
fear of the reprisal of Cesar Romero's Joker attacking Spain.
Oh my gosh.
Spanish Inquisition.
My question to you guys is, what movie would you consider so good it would be worth waiting 13 years to see? Like, so I know you'd have to know after the fact that's this good, but if you were to recommend it to someone, like they're overseas and you saw it here in the States and they found out, I'm going to have to wait 13 years, you'd be like, it's worth the wait.
This is an easy question.
Okay, Drew, then give us the easy answer.
Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's basically any movie you really enjoy, because the ones you don't aren't worth waiting for.
Paul, right? Why don't you just give me your answer instead of the psychoanalyzing?
Okay, adding into that is the original Star Wars.
A New Hope?
Or New Hope, Back to the Future, the first one.
You only get one, Paul. Which is it going to be?
Oh, I only get one? There's so many to choose from.
No, you only get one.
Pick one. I don't care.
How about you, Dallas?
I tempted them to bring up a controversial movie.
Maybe Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
There you go. There you go.
Or like legitimately, The Artist was a great film.
Oh,
I really
yeah, that
I've
came
never
out
seen
like
it.
50 years later.
You haven't seen The Artist?
No, I haven't seen it. That's the black and white movie, right?
Yeah.
And silent.
And silent. Oh, okay. I've seen.
I knew of it, but I have not watched it.
I've seen a black and white silent movie, Speedy.
Yeah. Episode number whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Nate, how about you? What movie would you say is worth waiting 13 years to see?
It'd have to be timeless.
Yeah, exactly.
I would purposefully tell them to wait. We said 13 years?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I would choose like the middle movie in an exciting trilogy just to drive them crazy.
Empire Strikes Back. Gotcha.
Wow.
Right in the middle.
No, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say like Jurassic Park, but with the technology, because that movie blew my mind when I saw it the first time. But the technology, I have to think about like computer graphics and stuff too. So it's like if they waited 13 years, they'd be like, "Oh, this looks really dated." Like when they finally got around to seeing it.
And plus, the first half is really boring. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Maybe Dark Knight.
Knight's
an excellent movie.
Nice. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
What about you, Francisco?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
No.
Right.
Yes.
Not at all.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, guys. No.
Shrubbery.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I would say.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
I'll put that
So
underneath Monty Python.
hardly underneath. Way above. Anyway, that'd be my answer.
That's your line, not mine. Oh, wait, it is my line. Great trivia, Francisco. And now that we have all our trivial fun, now that we've had all our... Take three. Trivia, Francisco. Great trivia, Francisco.
Thanks,
now
Paul.
that we've all had our trivial fun, let's find out what our memories... Let's find out what... take five. Great trivia, Francisco.
Thanks, Paul.
And now that you're welcome. And now that we've all had our trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our rad rewinders, had about Batman the movie.
Awesome. And again, just to remind you, we've moved our memories, like when we want to hear your guys' memories, to Discord. So we'll make a post the day before we do the podcast and you can share your memories there. Or I should say it's a thread. Anyway, so Drake Tungsten says, I haven't seen it. Great. That's great, Drake. But I've seen the clip of Batman Reign with the bomb, and I know there are 4 villains in it. Joker, Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman, I think.
Yep, that's correct.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh, is there more?
Well, did you have it up to do the next one, Paul?
No.
Oh, then I'll do
Although
that. There's only one
you
more, so I'll
had
do it.
A long explanation. You think I could have put it in there? Why not put another Edna?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, give me Dale's. All right, thanks, Dale, for putting this in. Dale says, the first time I saw it, it aired on Thanksgiving afternoon on an old Dallas station in 1980. Dallas, you have a station.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah, it's above the Planet Geekery.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Bottom shelf, Com Talk.
Yes.
Dale goes on to say he was 7 years old at the time. It says, my eyes were glued to my grandmother's television set as I watched the dynamic duo go against the 4 villains from the Batman Rogues Gallery. At the time, I thought it was cool watching the two blast off in the Batmobile. It's not that great of a movie, but yet I found some fun in it.
Aw, that's awesome. Well, so Dale's comment about it's not that fun of a movie leads us right into the things we didn't like about Batman 1966. So let's get into our worst three things. And I'm going to kick it off by saying this. You guys were saying how this works well, and in terms of having 4 villains, and I'd still agree with that. But it still really just felt like 3 episodes of the show mashed together. It didn't really feel like one overarching story. Like, I thought the dehydration thing sort of happened in the very beginning, and yeah, they abducted the guy in the beginning, but it didn't get to like dehydrating the UN until way at the end. And so I feel like it was just like 3 stories of them essentially stealing this boat, figuring that out, then abducting Batman, that was the next story, and then the rehydration of the UN was the last story.
Francisco.
Kind of like having 3 acts in a movie?
Yeah.
No, kind of like having 3 skits that didn't have anything to do with each other. That's what.
Oh, they have plenty to do with each other. You're
Tons
saying
of things.
you don't like the fact that it stayed within the motif of the show?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I wanted to move. This says the movie, not
but it is the movie.
the extended TV show. The movie.
In widescreen.
If the episodes of the TV show can be likened to issues of the comic, then the movie is like the annual.
There you go.
Or the graphic novel. That's what this is. So
Isn't-
it's a little bit longer story, but
That's
it's
fair.
the same kind of story.
Isn't the graphic novel just all the issues put together in one?
No, like an annual. Like
I don't know.
You'll have like individual issues,
actual
and then an annual is like a thicker, longer story.
Oh,
that comes
okay.
together.
Oh,
But
see,
it's
I didn't know
essentially
that.
the same types of stories, but it's much bigger and usually got a little bit more money thrown into it.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So let's go to someone else with find out what you didn't like.
How dare you make a movie out of a TV show?
Yeah, and have it not
No,
match the
okay.
look and
You
feel of
want
the TV
examples? We are going through Firefly right now as our we don't have one at the end of the show, but leading up to our Christmas
Good, 'cause I
episode
didn't
on
watch it
Serenity, and then Serenity is a completely different story, all the same characters on a different adventure. That's a story from soup, goes from soup to nuts. The whole thing is its own contained story, not 3 stories put together.
This is its own contained story.
Okay, it is, but it's like 3 episodes put together.
Why? Okay, now tell us why you didn't like it.
Because it was 3 episodes put together. I felt like instead of one.
What you wanted was one episode spread out for 2 hours.
I would have preferred they had taken this and divide it up into 3 episodes and release those on TV and actually come up with a better movie story, a story that worked in the structure in the context of a movie.
Then it would not be a good adaptation of the comic books, which is what it is, because those comics at the time were pretty much blowing and going about this fast.
Okay, so by that logic, what you're saying, Drew, and anyone else that's agreeing with Drew, here's the line in the sand. By that logic, you're saying that Batman 1989, Batman Begins, all those you didn't like them because they weren't like the comics?
Because by that time in the comics were written like that.
They were. Right. There was a big shift in
There's a big
80s.
shift, around the Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns,
where it became dark and became gritty.
Right.
No,
and
but it's not.
There's a big difference.
It's not about the.
Okay,
the
you're saying
gritty.
the first episode was the disappearance of the boat. The
Yeah.
second episode was what?
Was them abducting Bruce Wayne.
And the third episode
was the UN guys getting dehydrated and them having to fix it.
But the whole story, the through line was the dehydration machine and so it sounds like a movie to me. Next.
I mean,
let me ask, did you like Dark Shadows?
I never watched it.
The movie.
I never watched it, either the show or the movie.
Okay, so what's the deal is people hated Dark Shadows because it was so not like the movie or like the TV series. There are people who hated the first Mission Impossible because it was so not like the TV series.
Right.
My mom among them.
I didn't like the first Mission Impossible just because it was not very interesting. I never watched the TV series.
The hero of the TV show was the villain.
You know what?
And I liked
we can agree to disagree.
I liked
Dragnets
with Bill Murray and Tom Hanks. Is that Bill Murray? No.
No, it's Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. Is Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks in Dragnet?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I like that. I didn't like even though I didn't like the original show, but it was a fuller story.
All right.
Don't ever. I'm not.
that's your opinion. And
Francisco, there's a saying: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And you're the horse that won't drink.
Right.
Are you saying I have a long face? It's fine.
Yeah, everyone's allowed to have an opinion. It's okay for you to be wrong.
Especially if they're wrong.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, so you guys are claiming your opinions are wrong. Okay, I can get on board with this.
No,
but let's go on to someone else. Let's go on to someone else.
Finally.
I mean, we've known your opinion's been wrong since what, episode 13? Holy Grail? Whatever number that is.
Bah. Okay. Let's go to Nate next. What is something you didn't like?
Add something in after mom and dad have been fighting the whole evening.
Well, admittedly, you haven't been talking during the whole bit. So.
Yeah, for good reason.
He's hiding in the corner, shaking.
Number one, I don't have nearly the knowledge of all things comic and pop culture that people on this podcast do.
So just side with me. Just side with me, Nate.
I never said that, Francisco. Don't be stupid. Let's see. Okay, one thing I didn't like, and I realize that it's just a super campy movie and whatever, but at first it was how do I phrase this? The levels of disguise and how people were willing to realize somebody was somebody but not realize somebody was, like, for example, like the Catwoman,
Miss Kitka,
she wears
Tanya Karenska Alisov.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne was so dumb when it came to his girlfriend. Like the fact that he didn't put that together, like back and forth, like they literally took him from Catwoman to I forget what her fake name was.
Kitka. I thought it was Kitka.
Irena to Tanya Karenska.
Okay,
aka Miss Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Yes, Kit Kat. Yes, Miss Kit Kat. I like it.
And so they bring him from a room with Catwoman to a room with Kitka, and he's just like, I'm so sorry you have to deal with it. Like, it's like, you're such a moron. And then they have this whole like action thing, and then Burgess Meredith comes out wearing like a sailor suit, like a shanty sort of thing, and like the disguise is, I mean, it's not bad. I think he's like wearing like a fake beard and stuff that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, that's the Penguin. It's like, what? No, you can't be a detective about that, but then not be a detective when
I totally see your point.
Catwoman puts a strip of cloth around her eyes. He's like, Catwoman.
He had a long nose that he didn't disguise.
and besides that, Catwoman at least was acting like a different person, whereas Penguin was still just being Penguin, but calling himself Commodore Shidlap.
Really,
with
Drew?
The fake accent.
The accent would throw Batman off. Is that what you're saying?
The same accent he had the whole time. Heck, half the time he was going quack, quack, quack throughout everything he was talking about.
I'm on board with you, Nate.
That being said, yeah, I agree with you.
I think that's a good point.
I don't know. No, it's like she had the same hair, the exact same physique. It's really
same eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
again, the movie. Then the movie's supposed to be campy. I get it. Like it's fine. It cracked me up. It's like, really, you pointed out Burgess in half a second, and
yes, exactly.
Half the movie you haven't been able to distinguish because of a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Hey Nate, do you have a problem with Lois Lane too?
Lois Lane.
Yeah.
No, that's a whole
That's
other
a great
thing,
question.
Paul.
Oh, being able to.
Great question.
You mean Lois Lane being able to see whether Superman and Clark Kent are the
No,
same person?
But Lois Lane doesn't claim to be the world's greatest detective. That's
True.
not, like,
True.
I mean,
all
a
I'm
profound
saying
reporter.
is that
Lois Lane is a tenacious reporter, and whatever. She's apparently kind of a dingbat for not realizing it. But if you're gonna get mad at Lois Lane about that, you need to get mad at everybody else in the Superman.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm
asking.
Everybody doesn't know.
Back when Christopher Reeve was playing Superman, he lost a Superman lookalike contest.
What?
I believe it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Or something to that effect. I may be mixing stories from a meme, but this is all basically the same thing.
That's funny. All right. So, Nate, I agree with you 100%. There isn't a consistent internal logic to that. Dallas, what was something that was inconsistent or just didn't really rubbed you the wrong way for this movie?
So for me, it kind of pulls off of what Nate was saying, and it's just that, and I get that this was a kind of a trope of Bruce Wayne in the series and how it is, but it's like they really ripped away the conversation of him being a detective, being able to figure out things at certain times. Like his being able to figure out things was purely plot device.
Yeah.
And his not being able to was plot device, and it was just really awkward. And you're sitting there going, why? And some of it, it kind of felt like Dora the Explorer's. Like, do you see Catwoman? there!
Yes!
It's like I like
Swiper, no Riddler, no Riddling.
Exactly. And so it's just like it bothered me at times because like this is supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and we play that up, but there are certain things that just should have functioned. And I get some of it's the camp, it's for the ploy of everything. But it did frustrate me at times. Like we could make him a little bit better, work something out with the whole Kit Kat thing, even like a Kit Kat. Even if it was a matter of, even if it was just a matter of like they really played up the skies of everything, or maybe he never saw Catwoman outside of maybe a shadow type of thing. But that bothered me was how they downplayed the detective side of who Bruce was.
Absolutely, yeah. Drew, what you wish was downplayed more in this movie?
Well, near the beginning of the movie, they're doing that scene in the Commissioner Gordon's office there in front of the closed circuit TV set to find out the known super criminals not currently in prison.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Joker, Riddler, and Penguins is all in front of this nondescript curtain. Catwoman's, on the other hand, is in stately Wayne Manor in front of the where the bookcase opens up so that Batman and Robin can go down into the Batcave.
Really?
That annoys me so stinking much.
That's funny.
That's weird.
It is the same room, I swear. Her hand can't be 5 feet from that bust of William Shakespeare.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Open that up.
Wow.
It's like, how did you do that? Now, I know part of what it is those shots are from scenes that were filmed for the one of the trailers where all the villains are taunting Batman, how they're going to defeat him in the movie. And I know that's what those are from. But I still don't know why you film her in
Wayne Manor.
Yeah. Put her somewhere. You could have put her in her borrowed penthouse apartment, and it would have made more sense.
Maybe it's a thematic device to show you that she could be so close to Bruce Wayne and he still won't know that she's Catwoman. I don't know.
I don't think so. One of the things I do know is that filming had begun before Lee Merriweather was cast as Catwoman. So I have a feeling that was a pickup shot from much later in shooting.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense. And Paul, I'm curious what would make sense in terms of things you didn't like.
I know this movie is supposed to be a parody, and it's supposed to be campy, and it's supposed to be, a little over the top and not make sense. But it kind of bothers me that at the end, spoiler, the ending, they bring the people, the world leaders back, but they're all speaking different languages, and who knows what else has been swapped. It's this movie, Batman doesn't finish this off with a nice bow at the end, like resolving everything. And I know that's part it's supposed to be kind of humorous, but it also kind of bothers me.
It's a weird ending, no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
You know what? It really bothered me so much that it's my tragic maker. This whole you could dehydrate someone down into dust. It dehydrates their clothes, which are probably not dehydratable that much, down to all dust, and then you can just zap them with some water, and then they become fully functional people. What the junk? This is not at all plausible.
Right.
What happened to the tubes that they were sitting on?
Yes, thank you, Dallas. I was about to ask that same question.
Wait, what did you say?
What happened to the tube?
You don't want to know.
All those
I think you know.
have that stuff up their behinds right now. Which really, considering most politicians, is not surprising in the slightest.
But yeah, that I just did not like that. I get that, the dust got all mixed up, but you wouldn't be able to, even sweeping up dust off the ground, there'd be bits that you miss. So what, people leave chunks of skin off? I mean, it's just, it's just, there's not a lot of consistency.
You know how much of the 5 guinea pigs is still in the carpet there at the
exactly
at the villain's lair?
Exactly. So that,
to be fair, the writer of this movie said that it's not, he hates the plot device that he came up with of the hydrating and dehydrating.
As he should.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants to go back and remake this movie to be better. I think he should do that.
I doubt it.
It could have revolutionized the beef jerky industry. No, they had to use it on world leaders.
No, it wasn't beef jerky. It was whiskey.
It was supposed to be for whiskey, but
I don't know how hydrating and dehydrating works with whiskey, but whatever.
Got me. I have no idea. It seems like all the alcohol would burn off. Then you wouldn't have whiskey. You'd have this weird water concoction. Anyway, that was my tragic maker. The thing I hated most about this film. Let's go back to Dallas, though. What was the thing you hated most about this film?
I didn't care about Commodore. Like, I forgot he was a character all the way through the film.
Yeah.
Commodore Schmidlap.
And then it's like, all of a sudden pops up again later. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a character. And they put such an emphasis on the front end. And I was like, could you do something more with him? Or just like, hey, we stole the device and we ran off with it. But it didn't make sense.
Why they kept him around if they had the device.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just,
it's not like they were forcing him to use it like he's the only one who knew how to use it or anything. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense at all.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just steal the dehydrator and then let him release him. Like, what is he going to do? Go and make another one?
Or they're villains. They should have killed him.
Or dehydrated.
This is the 60s.
They brought him back and then rehydrated when they wanted him.
The fact that the 5 guinea pigs died is like a shock to me, everything considered.
Yeah,
for this
that was
show, because
big.
I think this is the only time you see anybody in Batman 66 actually die.
Except
on
for
screen.
the very first pilot episode,
That's
somebody
true.
falls in a vat of like nuclear or something.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, between this
it's
movie
so
and that's the only
rare.
time. Yeah, it's the
So-
only times that people have died. Yeah,
Really?
It would have
Interesting.
made more. I personally think it would have made more sense and get him out of the way to say, "Hey, we don't even need Commodore Schmidlap in the movie. You could have had him fly over on a plane, and this was just happened to be shipped over on a thing that someone stole."
Yeah. I mean, the only reason to have him have any screen time, I think, is so that Penguin can impersonate him, and so kind of what he looks like. But I don't know. I feel like he might as well have just been like a passerby of some sort. I don't know. It just didn't make much sense. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry,
I agree with that. Yeah, Commodore 64. Get out of here. Let's go to Nate. What is your tragic maker for Batman 66?
My tragic maker, I was originally going to point out how little they invested in the costumes of the main heroes compared to the villains, but I know that they were trying to recreate the comic book look, so like with colors and things like that. So that complaint kind of went out the window. But see how I got an extra one in there?
Yeah, bonus.
Nice.
But no, my tragic maker was the ending. It was kind of going it's going along with bringing the leaders back, rehydrating them or whatever.
Yes.
But no, that's not what bugged me the most. Like they it's the end and everybody's arguing.
Yes.
And rather than just opening the door and walking down some stairs, maybe getting on the elevator, they're like, nope, we're gonna attach our grapple hooks to this window and perilously lower ourselves down 40 stories.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was anybody in that room, I'd be like, we've got like elevator, right? Like,
no, they wanted to get out of there quick.
You don't have to.
They didn't want to be associated. They didn't want to get stopped in the hallway. There's a problem here.
No, like the logic, like lowering yourself down from a flight of 40 stories. That's something you do if the room is on fire.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Half the roof is collapsed and blocked the doorway.
Yeah,
there
I would
was
have done the same
nothing
thing.
stopping them from just leaving. And they just like, well, I guess this is the only way we can fix it.
The only defense I have for that is like half of the walking up the walls celebrity cameos they did in the show. Half of them, Batman and Robin, are walking down the wall instead of up the wall.
But
okay,
so that's the only defense I have. Maybe it's a reference to that, even though they already did the walking up the wall cameo in the halfway through the movie.
They kind of did that like segment, and honestly, was that Mickey Rooney?
I don't know who that was.
I looked up who that was, and I still don't know who it is.
Okay,
because I know they
made that little impact on me.
Okay,
I think the other thing I saw him in that I recognized was he was on Mayberry RFD, which was the spinoff of Andy Griffith's show.
Oh,
no idea who this guy is.
Funnily enough, because funnily is a word, Mickey Rooney was actually first in line. They wanted him to play the Penguin.
Really?
I could see
I was really hoping you were going to say Batman. Jiminy Jillikers.
That would have been not good.
Oh my. Poor Mickey Rooney. Could never be Batman.
I just don't like the way. I guess I just don't like the way that they did.
They
that.
cut nails and ran.
Yeah. Now you guys are just showing off.
I totally get that. Totally get that.
And what does the living end mean?
The living end?
That's how it ends. It says the end, and then the word living pops up in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Isn't that something that he said occasionally? I mean, again, I'm not super familiar with it, but
I don't remember.
Not that I know of. This is just a weird thing.
I thought it was in reference to like the world leaders are still alive.
Oh, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there may be just some. Go ahead, Nate.
This was the 60s. Everybody on the production crew was dropping acid like there was no tomorrow.
Probably.
I mean, it's amazing the movie turned out how it did.
Wouldn't it have been amazing, though, if Austin Powers popped out of that window and said, "Oh, do I make you batty, baby?"
No.
That wouldn't make about as much sense as Colonel Clink or Lurch.
Yeah, exactly.
On the show.
Exactly.
Well, yes, it wouldn't make as much sense as the ending, but okay.
All right. Anyway, let's continue on. Thank you, Nate. With Drew, what is your tragic maker for Batman 66?
My tragic maker for this is that I think it's a victim of the time it came out, because this is it's so much of an adaptation of the 60s era comics that I think for most people nowadays, because they're used to, the more modern, dark, edgy Batman stuff. And yes, I'm including the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin in that. They're so used to that sort of thing that they don't even give this movie a chance to just do what it's doing. And so I really think that's just down to just the way it is. And it just, unfortunately for a lot of people, I don't think.
Don't look at my screen, by the way.
What?
Continue.
I'm just saying it didn't age well.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I'm getting there. Thank you. Okay, fine. We're gonna have to end the mode. I see the bots. I'm trying to get to it. Things are popping up on my screen. Everyone's seeing everything.
You can do it, Batman.
New setup. Not used to.
Batman, there's bots in the chat room.
Exactly. I'm trying to get to it.
Are we taking a break? Because I can use one.
Yes, go ahead. Go take a break.
Thanks.
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi.
No,
Will our heroes make it back in time to finish reviewing Batman the movie? Tune in next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Exactly. You got it. All right. Get to that link.
Oh, me.
Okay, finally getting there. You got it. And now get into this. And remove for, let's see, I want to ban.
Okay, that's
Just
what that is.
don't ban the bottom shelf on accident.
Ban the bottom shelf. Got it.
Yes.
We're trying to get our YouTube channel off the ground, man.
I hope yours is doing better than mine.
I'm uploading all of our episodes over the weekend. I'm using Headliner to make each episode into a video.
Nice.
And
Nice.
because After Effects takes 4 hours for an hour-long video. Which the After Effects version is what my team wants me to do. I was like, we have 10 episodes. I'm not doing that this weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you only got 10 episodes to worry about.
So, I forget how fast Reaper can do it. I know it doesn't take 10 hours. Well, I don't know if it
Reaper
takes an
won't do
hour.
An audio wave.
It will
do an audio wave. No, not if the file is more than 10 megabytes.
Reaper will only do an audio wave. Won't do an audio wave if the file is more than 10 megabytes.
If your audio file is more than 10 megabytes, and it has to be a .wave, which is bigger than MP3.
How are you doing the audio wave?
There's a plugin that everyone says to download.
Oh, I just use something.
Reaper. I'm sorry. I'm thinking DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah,
Never
Reaper.
mind.
I'm talking about Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper, Dallas.
Exactly.
Get with me after the show and tell me your magic, Captain.
Okay.
About making an audio wave in Reaper, because I'm thinking about DaVinci Resolve.
Got it. Yeah, I don't use that. I'm more of a Donatello guy, not this Leonardo chap.
You look like one.
I don't know how to take that.
I like Donnie too.
Don't look at me. I'm still rocking Audacity over here, but the old one. The old Audacity doesn't necessarily have spyware in it.
Okay. Well,
log your IP address.
Yeah.
What, Paul?
Which one?
The new version.
Oh,
One came out like
since
3 months
Audacity
ago.
got bought out. I have not updated because I don't want them knowing what I'm doing.
Dun,
man.
dun,
Oh, they
dun.
log your IP address.
I use Audacity. The audacity of it all, dang it.
Indeed. All right. So I believe we only have Paul left for Tragic Makers. Is that right?
Sure. I mean, I haven't given mine yet, but I
Yeah.
don't know about
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that's what I have marked.
All right.
All right. Hopefully you're all having fun with those. They're doing effects on the stream.
Well, yeah, you enabled them.
I
Why are you
know.
stopping the podcast for them?
Sorry. Okay. End of edna mode.
This was your decision.
So it's all of us fighting retro, I'm guessing?
Yes, we can take them. The 4 of us.
Wait, I'm facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, then that leaves Paul. What is your Tragic Maker for Batman the movie 1966?
I'm gonna have to go agree with
Me?
Drew
Yes,
that-
I like it.
No, that it's this movie is a product of its time. And
Oh
what
yeah.
I thought was the worst part of it was its pacing.
Like it's paced like 3 episodes mashed together?
Especially like in the middle of the part where I was falling asleep because it was so slow and boring.
Yeah.
Just compared to today's movie going audience. And then at the end, there's a climax, the fighting on the submarine. Then after that comes the rehydration.
Yes,
scene.
yeah.
That is so slow. And then they take a moment and pause right before they're going in, like to hydrate them. And I'm like, don't pause. Let's just go. Let's end this.
And then they start rehydrating, and that sound makes you want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's
and it
true.
takes her so long to rehydrate them.
Yeah. Well, a million pieces takes a long time to put together.
I guess.
I gotta wonder what was the philosophy of filmmaking back then, because all films that way had this really awkward, slow pacing, these long, drawn out, silent moments. Like it was just a philosophy of film at the time, and I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. No, I totally. That was. I mean, if you look at a lot of the Disney films that were made like around that time, like in the early '60s and stuff like that. Like I love Swiss Family Robinson. Like that is that I grew up with that movie, and I know, Francis. Shaking your head. I know. I get it. It's because Francis was such a bad boy.
No, it's Francisco doesn't have a heart.
Well, no, he does. It just hasn't grown 3 sizes.
No, like
Let Nate finish his point.
I made a joke today to my wife, just basically, or it wasn't a joke, but I just basically said Swiss Family Robinson, they could have made it a nice tight 2 hours and it would have been just fine. And then I realized by looking, I just looked it up right now. Swiss Family Robinson is 2 hours. It just feels like 3, basically. And it's just because of that very gradual pacing that a lot of those movies, and that's why, I mean, I want to share like these movies that I loved as a kid with my kids, but I know the moment they start watching it, a half an hour in, they're going to be kind of like, okay, you know, like looking around, like it just doesn't hold the attention the way they used to. I still love it because I grew up with it, but it was a very purposeful, drawn out kind of pace that some of these stories could take. I was shocked when I saw that the Batman was an hour and 45. I was like, this did not need to be an hour and 45. That is 15 minutes longer than most B movies made today. Like, you know, they could have made a very tight, like hour and a half, you know, sort of thing, but whatever.
So, do you think maybe though some of the idea of this weird pacing is still some of the carryovers from the old silent films, where it is a lot of where
gestures
we're having text on the screen, there's gesturing, stuff like that. There's a lot of awkwardness, and people didn't know how to write action and vocab at the same time yet.
So I would say no, because silent movies were over in like the 30s and 40s, and this is like 26 years after that. So I can't imagine that was still in their mindset.
I think it has more to do with how plays from this time period were written and how they were acted, because
I could see
you do have these moments where there's not a lot happening on stage until like someone finally comes in the room or something, where it's just you're in the moment, I guess.
Maybe. So the writer of this film, you have disowned it sounds like, saying it was a horrible idea. So why don't you come on next podcast and tell us why as we review some other movie?
I don't think Lorenzo Simple Jr. Disowned the movie. I just think he didn't like his plot contrivance.
That's fine. Well, okay, we could talk about that. Anyway.
And by the way, he passed away in 2014.
All right, so we'll
up the Ouija board.
Oh my gosh. We're in a time machine. We could go back in time when he's alive. Yeah, that might work. I mean, it's like calling Bryan Singer. I'm sure it'll be the same type of thing.
Probably sounds like him too.
Yes, very much could.
Sounds a lot like the silent parts of the film.
Oh my gosh, guys. Anyway,
except it somehow has an old time radio sound to it instead of them.
Now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
This is going to be fun. All right. Do we rate Batman the movie 1966 a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this movie, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic. If you've never seen it before, it's not worth your time. But if you remember seeing it as a kid or a young adult, it's definitely worth your time to revisit it. Or do we rate it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time today. If you've never seen it, keep it that way. And if you have seen it, don't rewatch it because it will sully any good memories you have of it. Let's start with Drew. What is your final reign? You predicted classic. Did that final reign hold to classic?
It did.
Not. God, down to tragic.
No,
good.
It did. It was a classic film for me. But if I were to, when I go to suggest this to other people, it would be more of a, keep it in mind its time period when it came out. So I guess really, as much as I want to call it a classic for myself, if I'm going to give it to others, suggest it to others, it would be a nostalgic, because there is parts of this that do not age well, I'll admit. But for me personally, it's a classic. That's not what you asked.
You can rate it how you want to rate it. That's fine. If you want to rate it classic,
sometimes I go with my personal. Sometimes I go with the general.
The definition was how we suggested to others, and there's a lot of people I would not suggest this.
All right, that's fair. Dallas, how about you?
I'm going to put it on the middle shelf. I mean, nostalgic.
That's a different podcast.
I do nostalgic. It's
nostalgic.
It's a great. I enjoy the film, but I understand that it is not because of the pacing. I would rate every film from the 60s, even those that people love, as nostalgic, because the pacing of it, people today will not appreciate. And unless you have a personal investment in the franchise or in the purpose of the medium. Again, this was a love letter to people of the style and people who love the comics. So therefore, for me, I'm like, man, I love this. I enjoy it. I'll bust it out every so often. I might do some like Mystery Science Theater 3000 stuff with friends and just joke about it. Like, this is a great group movie where everyone's just on the same page. Like, this is not a great movie. Let's make fun of it and laugh. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna put it in the nostalgic.
Okay.
And in the middle shelf.
Nate, what? So you predicted tragic. Did it stay at tragic or move up for you?
It would be very easy for me to personally rate this as a tragic, but after seeing the movie, seeing just kind of, hearing the love people had from it, growing up and stuff, I'm gonna upgrade it to nostalgic for everybody that if you've never seen the movie, give it a try, because it's a piece of film. It's like a time capsule for the 60s.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And I think it's a good, and it's a great education for anybody that's like, what was the entertainment the comic book life like in the 60s, and that's it. I have to, there's too many people that love it and grew up with it for me to rate it a tragic. I'll upgrade it to nostalgic.
All right.
Well, it's very nice of you.
And Paul, why don't you do us a nice favor and give us your final rating? You predicted classic. Did it stay classic? Yes, it stayed classic?
This viewing, it was so hard for me to get through. It's like a sludge fest. I don't know why, but like I said, the pacing and everything. This has been the worst viewing I've seen of it. Like, I really didn't enjoy it all that much. I mean, there were parts that I really enjoyed.
Your hate.
But, so for me personally, based off this watch, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I know that there are people that enjoy it. So for that reason, I'm going to rate it nostalgic.
One of us.
All right, so you guys all rated nostalgic, so my vote doesn't really matter. But I'm going to hold the line and tell you this is a tragic movie. This is not worth your time to watch. There's a plethora of Batman options for you. Batman 89, Batman the Animated Series, Batman Begins. So much Batman that you do not need to waste your time with this. You are going to be wasting your time if you watch this film.
I will almost agree with you, except that between all the other Batman movies out there, these villains together is hard to beat.
Yeah, this is. The Rogues Gallery in this film alone make the film worth watching.
For its time period, I still say this is the best adaptation.
Here's the thing.
This is the best Batman movie that came out in 1966.
Adaptation. Rephrase. Most accurate adaptation.
I'm rating this though as a movie experience, and not and compared to other Batman movie experiences, this is definitely not worth your time. So tragic for me, but because of all these scallywags and they're like, I'm just going to vote with people. Stop being a populist. No, that's fine.
Yo ho.
Yo ho ho, sir.
Corey, them.
Don't dehydrate me.
Yeah, if you're gone, bud. Sorry.
That's not functioning yet on the pod, but we've got some kinks to work out. Anyway,
all of a sudden, there was only one podcast in the Culture Box Media Network. And that was the Untold Podcast.
So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate Batman, the movie from 1966, a disputed, not very disputed, but a disputed nostalgic film. If you remember liking it as a kid or young adult, it might be worth your time today. But if you've never seen it before, go watch something else. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to get back to our own time to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers. Should I do this as a song? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Jared Holzhauer. That's not going to work. It's too fast. So never mind. Sorry, no song for you, patrons. Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers. No, that won't help. Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, Geek Devotions. Oh, you're right here. The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast. Oh, you're here too. Yeah. Ashley Crowenbitter, Pastor Dewson, Kennethan, Redeemed Otaku, That's Our Babo, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, The Dapper Man Reviews, Tony from the Retro Days, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, Rosie, in addition to 7 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to start.
This stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big bat hug to our guests for coming on and supporting us with their thoughts of Batman the movie tonight. I like to go in alphabetical order, so let's see who's first. It looks like Dallas is first. How can people find you online, or is there anything cool you got going on that people should know about?
Yeah, mostly you can find us at Geek Devotions. GeekDevotions.com is our website where you find our hub for our podcast. Talk by Geek Devotions, the Bottom Shelf podcast where we review terrible movies. Our tagline is "We watch terrible movies, so you don't have to." So Francisco should really subscribe today. But we basically what we do is we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, and we use them to let people know they love them, they're cared for, and there's a plan, purpose for their lives. And that crosses over to every platform, even when we're joking about comic books and movies, or we're watching really terrible movies like
Batman 1966.
Or Fatal Deviation,
or Mind Python and the Holy Grail.
Van Damme movie.
No, worse movies. There are worse movies.
There are far worse movies. So, but that's where you can find us.
Like Velocipaster.
Oh, that movie. Gosh. And as far as something cool coming up, we have confirmed that Celeste and I will have a booth at GeekCon this year in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Awesome.
We had an amazing supporter basically pay for it for us.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thanks, Bruce Wayne.
If you're in the Shreveport area, come say hi. And you'll see us and several other people of our team, both from just Geek Devotions and also the Bottom Shelf team.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. And let's go to Drew. How can people find you online, or is there anything cool you got going on?
Well, you ought to go follow my podcast, the Cellcast podcast, where we review animated movies and TV shows and talk about what we like about them. Also on we do record that on Twitch on Tuesday nights at 7:30. And then also I stream right now I'm streaming Dragon Quest 11 on Monday nights at 7:30 and Super Mario RPG on Saturdays when I get a chance to.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Nice.
Very cool.
And last but not least, Nate, thanks so much for coming aboard and keeping our captain in line. No, just kidding. How can people find you online and what do you got going on?
Thank you. People can head to stunningandbrave.net. It's a podcast that I co-host with my good buddy Chris Cowan, and we talk about all things ridiculous in the world, and most of all our privilege. That's very, very critical. Yeah, no, you can head over there and listen to the episodes we have on there. The latest one, I believe, I talk about how I've had a crush on Sarah Palin for the past 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, then.
So, yeah. I'm not going to say that one's entirely appropriate, but hey, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Batman.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much, Nate, Drew, and Dallas for being on the show. So glad to have you. And also thank you to all you, to my friend Paul, my awesome bat friend Paul, and all you rewinders, new and old, for another fun voyage.
You're welcome. And you can find me, PaulJPowers.com, at PaulJPowers.com.
Whoa, I never would have guessed. And you can find me on Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. And join us there at retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
Hey, Nathan made it after all. And as he was saying, We are now
What
part
are
of
they
Culture.
talking about? I don't think I know anything about this culture box.
What?
Well, let me tell you, you're already a part of it. Go figure it out. Everyone here is part of the Culture Box Media Network. You can find all the shows unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at culturebox.media. And with that, Captain, we are on final approach to Wayne Manor, hopefully, where the Batcave is underneath.
Indeed.
Wait, I said that out loud. Sorry.
Oh, man.
The Batcave.
And I do want to say, definitely check out all these other guys and some gals. One gal?
At least.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a gal on.
Celeste
yeah.
is the only gal, I think.
Yeah. And well,
and plus the guest hosts.
Yeah, guest hosts. On Culture Box, because in this first quarter of 2022, we're all going to be covering something related to Batman because the new Batman movie is coming out. I think in Geek Devotions, you can go check out their latest Geek Devotion video. They covered Batman meets Cthulhu in some. That's right. I'm remembering that right.
Yes, and this, we did that. Yes, and in this upcoming week, we're actually going to be having an episode on the new Batman movie, and we're also going to be doing a article review of it.
Awesome. But yeah, if you're like jonesing for more Batman, check out all these guys on their different shows. But thank you, EXO, and thank you all, yes, you listening for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for another yet to be determined episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
That works.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
It's true. All right, so we're gonna move into our spiritual speculation section now. Do anyone need to take a break before we do?
I'm empty.
Okay, Neo. So are you gonna go get more water or something?
My Invisiwater though.
Oh, you got Invisiwater. I have Invisiwater too, though. It's not really Invisiwater right now. It's just normal water.
It's Invisiwater when I drink.
Okay.
Pop it up again.
Let's see. Cardinal, I didn't say hi when you came in. Welcome. Culture Bat Me. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Culture Bat.
Let's see. Bobo, hello.
Retro.
Bobo says I can agree with Francisco, except that he is incredibly incorrect, so I won't.
I can agree, but I won't.
Suede Knight.
Who is Wayne Knight?
Suede Knight.
Oh.
They were on the YouTube side.
Suede Knight is Bobo on the YouTube side.
Oh.
Yeah, he changes back and forth.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's our Bobo.
Oh, Bobo.
So thumbs up if you're
Bobo,
ready.
You've done it again.
Thumbs up if you're ready for spiritual speculation.
Oh.
I see some thumbs up.
I hope I'm ready.
Are we playing heads up, thumbs up? What's happening?
Yes.
Yes. Heads up, 7 up.
Let's play 7 up.
Thumbs up, 7 up. Yes. No. Okay.
Although I prefer Coca-Cola.
Oh, who wouldn't?
Okay. Here we go, guys. And I believe it was Paul and Dallas. You said you definitely had one, right? And then I do as well.
I hope I can word this right.
So we're starting with you first, then, Paul. All right.
Oh, great. No, that's
This
fine.
is
Good. I
how-
want to get it over with.
Retro gets canceled by Russia.
Yes.
Duh.
Welcome, Reflux Capacitors, to another spiritual speculation where we take a look at the spiritual themes that the movies and games we cover on the podcast prompt us to think about and to want to discuss with each other. This spiritual speculation is coupled with our review of Batman the movie, 1966. You can check out that review at retrorewindpodcast.com/204. 45 if you haven't already. But you don't have to have listened to that, but sometimes the humor carries over into the spiritual speculation. But before we get into our talks, sometimes, let's go around real quick, say who we are, what our faith life was like growing up, and what we currently believe now. So my name is Francisco. I was raised Presbyterian, which is a Protestant denomination of Christianity, and currently a non-denominational Protestant Christian. Let's go to Drew next.
I'm Drew. I was a Southern Baptist. I'm a Southern Baptist, and I'm still a Southern Baptist.
I thought you were Pentecostal just now.
Yeah, right.
No,
Dallas.
I couldn't be because there was no one here to interpret.
I had an interpretation for that one, so maybe not. I don't know. Hey, I'm Dallas. I grew up kind of everywhere religiously. I was, Baptist churches, Methodist churches. I am a minister in the Fellowship of the Assemblies of God, and that's what I do.
And Nate?
Yeah, I was raised just like Francisci. I was a Presbyterian, raised Presbyterian, and then I'm non-denominational now.
Awesome. And that leaves Paul.
So back in the day, I was chasing after 4 villains, and they started dehydrating people, and I knew that wasn't going to work out, so I started following Jesus, and now I'm.
That's fair. That's a good story.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's good to see you're on the right side of good now.
Yeah. You might be able to take that story and get a TV series made. Probably not a movie, but a TV series for sure.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, let's talk about the things that, spiritually speaking, came to mind for us while watching the Batman the movie. Paul, let's start with you. What's something that you noticed in this viewing?
So we're recording this at the first part of the year 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just couldn't help thinking, okay, let's say Catwoman wanted to rob a jewelry store, but let's say she was Russian, and
rushing to do it.
Yeah, she was rushing to do it. And
watch out for those ballpoint bananas.
Yeah. And let's say the name of the jewelry store had something like Ukraine in it. But as Batman, would you feel obligated to go in and stop her?
If she was stealing from a jewelry store?
Yes.
Sounds like she's stealing from a crane game.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if I'm Batman and I'm deputized by the city to be a law enforcement, yeah, why wouldn't I stop her from robbing the jewelry store?
Okay, so you're You're deputized. So there's legal
precedent. There's legal precedent for doing.
Who deputized you?
You said I'm Batman, I thought.
Yes.
So Commissioner Gordon, I thought deputized. See, he said in this movie he was deputized.
Yes. No. Okay, let's say you've been deputized to fight crime. Should you go in and stop her?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my take. I'm curious. Do any of you guys think differently?
No, I mean, I think I know where Paul's going with this, but within the construct of the world we created, if our job, our task is to do that, then yeah, we should go and stop her.
But let's say this jewelry store is not in Gotham.
Okay. So it's outside our jurisdiction?
I just hope we get into a really exciting discussion about zoning law.
Civil engineering, man, this is the good stuff.
So when is it not appropriate for you to go off and stop her?
This was spiritual speculation. It's not political.
Well, this has to do with morality and you know.
God, like when is it my duty to sort of keep someone else from acting against someone else, like or sinning against someone else, if we're going to bring it into the theological realm?
Right.
Man. That's a good question. When is it incumbent on me to keep someone else from sinning? I almost want to say when they've asked me to to help them not to sin. Otherwise, I feel like they're going to do it regardless, irrespective of whether I tell them to or.
So you're going to let Catwoman steal she's already gone in and killed the guards, and you're walking and you have the ability to go in and stop her.
Okay, but I'm just a bystander. I'm not necessarily law enforcement.
Okay, let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, now you brought it up to homicide.
Yeah, that kind of raised the stakes. By the way,
she's wasted everyone in the jewelry store. What are you gonna do now? I mean, there's a big difference between taking someone's life and I mean, not maybe from a sin standpoint, but there's a big difference between just killed a bunch of guards and as opposed to slip some diamonds in her purse.
Okay. So are you saying you would get involved once lives were taken, but not before?
I would hope multiple people get involved if lives are taken at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more if there's risk of life, there's more, and like, let's say I part of me feels like I'd call the actual police, but let's say this jewelry store is in the middle of nowhere and there's no one around. It's like, this is not the best prime real estate for a jewelry store, but let's say that's the situation. Then yeah, I think it is because of the importance of human life. Then that then does become incumbent on you to stop them from sinning against someone else.
Okay, so why do you think that more people don't go in and help then?
Like in what situation? Like,
well, if you're working for a lot of corporations, they tell you not to nowadays.
Right.
You're supposed to let people just walk right out of the store.
Yeah.
That's what Walmart told me.
Right, Paul. With it, you have to look at it as we are responsible to be stewards of certain things that are given to us. So
with our authority and jurisdiction,
and jurisdiction, but also within what we can do. So I have what I have to take care of, and I'll give you a great example. Several years ago, I was on a youth trip, and I had a bus full of teenagers, and we're driving down the street, and I look to the side, and it's dark, and I see somebody getting jumped.
Oh, that's not one of your kids. You don't know.
It's not one of my kids. No, if it was one of my kids, I'd be in jail right now. Okay. And so, but I have a bus full of kids. I can't get out, and I'm the only adult. I can't get out and go help this person physically myself. What I can do, and what I did do, was grab my phone and make some contacts. So, because
what does eyewear have to do with it?
I have to be a good steward of what is my responsibility, what I have here.
Yeah.
And so within the realm of when we're looking at a situation, when we're dealing with what's happening, yeah, my first instinct is, man, let me jump in and help out. But also I have to go, let me take care of what I can, because I have to take care of certain things.
Yeah.
And then I will position things at where I can. So in the case of Batwoman, or not Batwoman, of Catwoman, jumping in and taking out a place, she's busting up a joint over in I forgot the city.
Gotham?
Green Arrow. I'm like, hey, Green Arrow, hop in. She's right there. I mean, that's why you have the Justice League.
Okay.
Hey, Flash, pop in. I got this right here.
Okay.
So
and then if needed, if it becomes too much, secure what I have, go and do what I do.
Baba says, so you jumped out of your phone and then posted social media. Job done.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
I'm not on that end of the millennial chain. I'm on the high end of the millennials, but I'm not on that low end of the millennials.
Nice.
Thoughts and prayers.
But that makes
good energy.
You just grayed out your profile picture and said our thoughts and prayers.
Oh gosh. But yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Dallas. That we have certain domains that we are responsible for, and if I still think, I don't know. Part of me wonders if it was imminent threat that they were going to die, then I don't know. Yeah. I still feel like it might be.
I mean,
I don't know.
There's instinct where we want to jump in, and we should to a degree with certain things. But again, I look at even an example of Jesus gives us the example of leaving the 99 to go find the one. It's not just the shepherd doesn't just go deuces and runs after one. He leaves him in a safe place to go after the one. He's still stewarding what he has. And we as individuals have to steward what we have so we can take, because If we don't, we can't take care of people properly.
Yeah.
And we can't help that one. What happens when we help that one, but because we didn't steward what we had, now what we had is now left in the cold.
Right.
It's kind of like the secure your own oxygen mask before you help others, because if you don't do that, then you won't be a help to anyone else. You'll actually be a hindrance to other people. That type of thing. I mean, that's a very personal, but I could see that sort of expanding out in concentric circles. Yeah, that's right. I said concentric.
So that was my question.
Okay. Anyone, Nate or Drew, have anything else you want to add to that or expand upon that at all? No,
I think
I think y'all covered it.
It's
okay.
been a good discussion.
All right. So mine is probably a bit less of a discussion, but it does have Bible. So I'm gonna read some Bible.
Oh, you got a verse. Good job.
Multiple verses. So
wow.
This is Genesis 11:1-9. I'm just going to read the whole story. Now the whole earth used the same language and the same words. It came about as they journeyed east, and they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they used brick for stone, and they used tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top will reach into heaven, and let us make ourselves a name. Otherwise we will be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." The Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. The Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all have the same language. And this is what they began to do. And now nothing which they purpose to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down, and there confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. Therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the whole earth. So my question to you, so this is related, in case you missed it, to the world leaders. Essentially,
oh, thank you. I was wondering how this was related to Batman 66. Okay.
And Batman was over the whole earth. No. So the world leaders at the end, both before they're rehydrated, and after, they're all speaking their own language and unable to understand anyone else, and they're all just sort of shouting over each other. And so my question to you guys is, how do you think, so I believe we all believe in the new heaven and new earth someday when God comes back and we're all in eternity with him. Do you think we'll all be speaking the same language or different languages? And if we're speaking different languages, how are we going to understand each other all of a sudden?
ESP, if not.
I think we'll be speaking the same language.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I theorize it.
That would make sense to me, but also I have no idea.
Well, okay, so why would we be speaking the same language all of a sudden?
Because God will create. That's a good question. I was about to say he'll give us
because
a new
God can make
body,
it happen.
Well, okay,
Right.
yes. God could also make it so that we have the same language.
That you're in heaven, you're going to be going through the elementary school, learning the language and all the math, the new math.
As Christmas new math. Why would he have to go to that much trouble? I mean, he did cause the people there in Acts at the day of Pentecost to be able to all speak in whatever tongue the person was would expect to hear in their own language.
So you're saying there's going to be some sort of universal translator for everyone that will all
little fish that goes in your ear.
Oh my gosh,
a babble fish.
Yeah,
this isn't Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But okay, I'm just curious if there is. Yeah, I know this is all speculation. I'm not expecting any of you to actually literally know, unless there is something in the Bible that sort of points you in that direction.
There's not.
Up to this point, I just assumed we all speak the same language. But I like the idea for some reason right now that we've grown and we've learned this language, so we'll act. I think that it's not like we're going to I don't believe that as soon as we die and we go into heaven and stuff, we're going to know everything, because I think only God will know everything.
Yes, exactly.
But, I know not everybody believes that, but I believe that. So if Yeah, I think we could learn a universal language. I'm still bummed. Never mind. That's
What? No, I'm curious now. What are you bummed about?
I have some deaf friends, and I find it so frustrating. If anybody in the world could be one language, it could be the deaf people. But not even them could all get on the same page. It's like
really,
yeah. There's American Sign Language, English,
but it's gonna. But when we go to heaven, it will it's going to be in perfect bodies. So the deaf would actually be able to hear and speak just like anybody else would.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, some knowledge is going to be passed around, at least for that part of it. If I don't know, their souls aren't used to processing certain bits of information. I'm estimating here. I have no idea.
Yeah, because you bring up a good point. Like when Jesus healed the lame who never walked before, he was all of a sudden not just walking but dancing and jumping. So there is precedent for
instant knowledge.
Something.
Yes.
So it's like Jesus plugs you into the Matrix and you download all I know Kung Fu all of a sudden. Yeah, when you're healed. That's awesome.
Except I'd like to leave the Matrix out of this.
Fine, whatever. But
I was gonna.
Oh, go ahead, Nate.
Oh, go ahead, Francisco.
I was just gonna make a joke saying it's Matrix Resurrection. See, they're talking about the resurrection. Okay, good.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
I'm not interested in movies that are so far up their own behind.
Shots fired.
Well, then you'd hate Batman 66.
Oh.
Just because the politicians got something stuck up their behind.
Are you talking about the wedgies they all had from the costumes? Or what are you talking about?
The test tubes.
The test tubes that were sitting on those
there
chairs.
you go. Yeah. Anyway. I was gonna say the new body is concept. It's I kind of view it as like coming to work the first day and they hand you like a welcome packet.
Okay.
With like here's how to leave the building and not die, and here's how to here's a list of all the restaurants in the area and blah blah blah. I mean, it's like if God's gonna give us a brand new body, that new body can come with what we consider a brain programmed. However, I hate to use the word programmed. I don't like that, but I'm just saying created to instinctually know certain things and why can't that include a universal language for heaven?
Yeah. So that
maybe
could be.
Our fallen bodies have this blockage in our brain that don't allow us to really learn it as well.
Maybe.
By the way, Francisco, can I say how much I loved your impression of people down on Earth as civilization? It sounded like Lothar of the Hill people. So when you were talking like them, I could not stop picturing Mike Myers in a caveman costume. So. We will build a tower.
we will. It'll be great. Jumping back just a little bit. Jay Gilbert says the biggest question this is back to Paul's speculation. The biggest question is how much danger will it put you in? And thankfully now almost everyone has a cell phone and the ability to call 911 in an emergency. Yeah, for sure. At least in the States. Dale says you have to take care of the kids on the bus. You can't abandon them. And indeed. Cardinal says, tongue to my question now, understanding was how tongues worked in Acts. So they're just able to understand what the people were saying in different tongues.
It wasn't just speaking a different language. It's also understanding that.
Yeah. Awesome.
It wasn't whatever I was doing at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
When I couldn't speak and said something strange in an unknown tongue.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my main question, but it sounds like everyone got to say a piece about that. Unless I didn't. That means peace. We're not there yet, Paul.
We're not there yet, Paul.
All
right. Well, then let's go to Dallas's question or thought.
Yeah. So mine actually comes from the same scene with the kind of before
from Mike Myers.
That one. Before they got rehydrated, but back when the villains all came in and they dehydrated everyone else. It was of course it's part of the campiness.
Why aren't they noticing? By the way, why aren't they noticing that other people are just disappearing out of nowhere? No, they're just keep fighting.
Commentary on social leaders.
When you're very focused on something, the obvious slips past you.
Yes.
Well, that's
okay.
the thing is they're so busy fighting each other.
Uh-huh.
Well, similarly, like everything they're fighting about, they're all saying peace in their own language. They're all fighting about the same thing.
They're all shouting about the same thing.
But
really?
They're so distracted by what's going on that they miss the bigger threat.
Yeah.
And this is such a common thing that we see happening. We see it happening in the world today. We've seen over the last forever in our country. We see it with, from political stuff of conservatives to liberals to people just within life. And it's sad because we're so focused on these things. They're so minuscule. Not that they're not important to the people at the time. They're legitimately like, these are big deals to these people,
Right.
but they don't mean a lot in the big grand scheme of things. And because they've been so polarized, they're looking at each other as the enemy itself. And thinking about Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, reading from the English Standard Version, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over the present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. That's our enemy. The enemy is Satan. That's the spiritual aspect of things.
Yeah.
And it's not the people. Even when we're dealing with specific people, there's still a person there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's still a person that's if they are in the wrong, they're lost. They're in sin. They're still, as the penguin, every one of them has a mother. There's still a person.
Yeah.
There's hope. There's the opportunity for redemption.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you don't like the ruler of your country, it's not you that you're against the ruler, but you're against the spiritual forces behind the ruler and the decisions that's going on.
That kind of thing. But how do we keep that? Like, how do you guys keep that in mind? Because again, things are so polarizing in the world. How do you keep from hating and just find yourself, I'm disgusted with you as an individual? When you're trying to realize that this is a person. Like I could bring something. There's a person in my life that I know that I've known for many years, and over the last couple years, they become very different in the way they approach people, how they act, the way that they talk. They have
Dallas. I have always not liked Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That has never changed.
We pray for you.
We're not talking about your poor opinions.
But on the real side, like this guy, he used to be a real loving, caring individual, but now he's taken such a drastic stance in a political atmosphere that he's almost hateful. And it's hard for me to talk to him and not be angry at him, recognizing he's lost in a lot of other stuff right now. So how do you guys as individuals go when you're looking at somebody who you're frustrated with them, you're angry at them, outside of the fact that God says if you don't forgive, he won't forgive you? How do you guys keep that balance of going, I'm not fighting a person, I'm fighting, this is a very real spiritual battle that we're having to walk through with these people?
Now I'll jump in right away and ask, is this somebody that let's say, are they would you say they're being toxic, or would you consider some of their words or actions toxic in their stance?
I would say it's toxic, divisive, and baity.
Okay,
baiting people.
I know a couple people like that, but fortunately for me, they're all online. I don't interact with them personally face to face. So when I have the chance to say something positive that's scriptural, I try to take moments of that opportunity, try to take those opportunities to do that, which is not very often, unfortunately, or fortunately. But besides that, I just let them be and hopefully find those times where they are open to receiving those nuggets of truth that can help bring them back and pray for them. But
well said, Paul. I mean, I'm sort of in that same vein, I would say, because you can't, if they're wanting to just bait and disrupt and sow disunity, then I don't know if I don't think you can necessarily talk them out of that unless they want to be at that place. Maybe I could see them getting to a place where, like, you know what, I've been thinking this one way, but now I'm not sure, and seeking a friend to get sort of counsel. But if they're sold out to a certain idea, I don't know if you can necessarily change that about them. You can be praying about them and praying over them and just be like, I'm here to talk if you want to have a good faith conversation about this, but I'm not interested in.
And I can lay out exactly all the areas where you're wrong.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D.
I mean, the way I approach this, I approach this a lot of times is I always try to approach this from the side of coming at the situation from the side of brotherly love for this person. Because if I'm even bothering to talk to this person, I probably have a brotherly love for them. And besides saying the Bible does, I can't remember exactly where it is right off the top of my head, but it does say love your neighbor as yourself.
Right.
And who is our neighbor? Well, according to the Good Samaritan, everybody is our neighbor.
Right.
Which is why I forgive Francisco every day for not liking Monty Python.
Oh,
but
that's nice.
Yes.
It's Mark 12:31, by the way.
Thank you.
Talks about Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yep.
No, it talks about loving your neighbor as yourself.
That too. See how one begets the other.
Oh my God.
The end of Luke, though, it does have Monty Python. Jesus says, "I'm not dead yet."
I got better.
Ha ha ha.
He said, "I got better."
Guys
like
are
to go
hilarious.
walk with me.
You've been consulting the Book of Armaments, haven't you, Brother Panda?
Wow.
But
yeah,
I
Go ahead,
have
Paul.
seen, just as I have seen other people try to help, and they get caught up into that
Web
backbiting.
or
Like they go in trying to help, but it leads to confrontation that both look like they're not
like
representing God's love, right?
Yeah.
So it's just there's cautionary there.
Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for somebody is leave them alone, which I hate to say that, but there are some people who are so not listening to you or listening to any viewpoint but their own, that all you can do is make them want to have that relationship back again, which they can't miss unless you're gone.
Right. But see, all that's about that what you guys are talking about is from if you've been trying to reconcile a relationship, which is something really biblical. I'm talking about how do you keep the mindset of going, I'm not going to hate this person. It's pan it back from something personal to something like, real world right now. There's a lot of people who legitimately they hate Putin. Right. But he's still someone that God loves.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
still someone that has the opportunity to be redeemed.
Yeah.
This is an illustration.
He's not there yet, but yes.
Yeah, he's not there yet. But like this is an illustration I've used for years for people.
Yeah.
The most hated person in history, Adolf Hitler. Until the moment he died, he had the opportunity to go, I repent. On his dying breath, he could have had a revelation of Christ. I'm not saying he did. And went,
You have no idea.
Oh
You're not saying
Lord,
he
I
didn't.
please forgive me. I'm a sinner. Forgive me. And God says, I love you, son. Yes.
Yeah.
God himself would have called him son.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, it's easy to be really angry and hateful about this hateful man.
Yeah.
How do we keep from hating people when we know they need redemption?
Well, I think how do we keep from hating people when we know they need redemption? I mean, I sort of
hard question.
I think it's but maybe I'm oversimplifying it.
Theologians here.
Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but I think it's realizing all the stuff that you do wrong and all the places you mess up and the places in your life where you've screwed up. And maybe there's places where you can't take back the things, like maybe the person's just completely gone out of your life. You don't know where they are. You can't like ask for forgiveness or anything like that. And realizing that you're given the opportunity, you could get to these monstrous levels. Like if you just had the right combination of power and influence, all of us, I think, could get to these horrible places in life because we are fallen and we do have. You just essentially take whatever that bad thing you did was, and imagine yourself being having almost limitless wealth or influence or power, and think about how that would just make that situation way worse. And I think
Not if I had it.
Okay, Paul. I could hold the one ring, and I'd be fine. So I think it's reflecting on how we screw up, and God still loves us. And I think then you sort of extrapolate that to God loves this person. I don't think that means you have to like them and want to be around them or have them in your life, but I think it allows you to realize, okay, they are a fellow image bearer of God. God made them just like he made me.
That's a better answer than I was thinking. Well, hate the sin and love the sinner.
Okay.
You always, though, have to come at the situation remembering that your goal in that conversation is not to win.
Word.
Your goal is there to help that person realize, or to help that person, to love that person, even if they're being wrong, even if they're fighting with you tooth and nail. Your goal there is not to win an argument, to be right above all else. You're there to help them.
Well, not to be right, but to represent what's right and true.
Represent what's right, sure. But I mean, how many times do we get into like a debate against something, and we focus so much on I'm the one who's got to be right, and I'm going to fire every weapon I've got till I'm right. But all of a sudden, you're driving a wedge more and more between you and the person you're trying to help.
But there's no point in coming up to them and saying, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I love you and I'm here for you." Basically, that could be as a sign of supporting them in their ways.
But guys,
it doesn't matter how you do it.
The Book of Bombay, chapter 1, verse 10 says, "Go for the W every time." So I think you're supposed to always try to win.
Our
fight is against.
I worry about ducks.
Our fight is against the spiritual forces,
yes.
And there is a fight there, and there is a fight to win.
But that you win that through prayer, I think.
Yeah, you do have to be praying about this kind of stuff constantly.
Yeah,
almost like without ceasing.
I'm glad we all agree.
Ironically, this is kind of what my spiritual speculation thing was going to be, because I remembered that scene from when he's trying to get rid of the bomb, as he goes down into the bar, and he tells everyone to flee, and then later on, after he blows up the bomb, Robin says, "Why did you try to save all that riffraff in the bar?" And it's like, because they can be, their lives can be changed. Their lives can be saved.
Exactly.
They are people too.
Yeah.
In many ways, that would be why Batman, pretty much in any continuity, is doing this crime fighting thing, is because he recognizes it's, even though he's trying to make the world a better place.
Do you know why?
Because
he's Batman.
Do they talk about in this 60s show how his parents were killed? Is that a part of it?
Episode they do.
Oh,
in the pilot episode they do this, but this is also the episode that showed us the Bat Tootsie.
Oh, really? Where he's
dancing.
dancing?
It's the same episode. He talks about it's the same episode, because at the very beginning he talks about how his mother and father were killed, leaving him all alone, kind of as an introduction to the character, and then like 20 minutes later he's doing the Bat Tootsie, trying to get into this where the Riddler's got like his hideout.
Oh, all right.
He's in a dance club and somehow trying to be undercover, despite the fact he's wearing the Batman costume.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
It's been a while since I've seen the episode, but he does mention it.
Got it. Okay. Well, any added thoughts to what Drew had to say, what his spiritual speculation was about that we're all worth saving, or that we all are
they're all
image of God?
So of course they're worth saving.
Yeah.
All capable of finding redemption one day, we hope.
Yeah.
Which is legitimately difficult for us to keep. I got friends in the Philippines. They have an orphanage, and they have two houses. They have one just for kind of your normal orphan situations, and they have some that are orphaned because so it's real common in the Philippines for a parent to have to go overseas to work and be gone for years at a time.
Oh, wow.
And send money back home. And oftentimes what happens is the kids they leave end up being sold off into some form of slavery. And so they have an orphanage just for those kids. And so sometimes those kids are being pimped out by their own parents. And they had a situation where they're not just trying to help these kids, they're trying to restore the parent. Not that they need to be in that situation again, but try to redeem them, give them hope. Because they're in this situation because the poverty level is so ridiculous over there. And I have friends here stateside that they do what's called cyber stings, and they basically there are people who will call. There are websites where you can find phone numbers to get a prostitute, and they call looking for Amy, and they get a guy named Chuck. And so, which is really distracting when they're all saying, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah,
come over the phone. But their thing is not to just arrest these guys. We in Shreveport we actually have a thing called John School, where they'll arrest Johns and they send them through a program to try to redeem them, try to help change their mindset on things, and try to find some restoration for them through the process. And that's hard to think about. Like, we explain it to people are like, well, why would you? Well, because there's still somebody that needs to be redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
Edna mode. Okay.
Why are we?
Nate, you've been real quiet, brother.
Why are we Edna moding?
Yeah, why are we
No,
Edna
I've
mode?
just been
goes
listening. I've been
battling the
listening
bots.
to the,
Well, yeah.
to the discussion. It's been really good. I mean, everybody was lending a good response to your situation, Drew, and or not Drew, Dallas. Yeah, no, I mean,
I know we're both big white guys, but we're not that much alike.
No, I think one of the most disarming things that we can do is pray for somebody we don't like, or hate, or what we consider hating. I think, or it's I think there's a reason God calls us to ask or to pray for that person, because it kind of puts it douses the fire of our anger when we genuinely try our best to do that. I mean,
that's a good way of putting it. Yes.
And I think it's important to guard your own heart. I think it's important not to to engage if you think it's going to hurt. I guess if you think it's gonna lead to more conflict, I guess conflict that's not being prayed over and just kind of handling it on our own. We tend to think so often that we can change somebody just ourselves. It's not us that's changing the person. It's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit could be using us, and that's why a lot of people that are might want to engage with somebody that they really don't like, or trying to win over to Christ. But ultimately, the Holy Spirit's going to do it. It's not you.
Exactly.
They may use you, but yeah. So I mean, I and thank you, Dallas, for sharing about the whole thing with the Philippines. That's crazy. It's tragic. That's going on. But I'm glad that there's schools that can help with that, or at least groups that want to help reform people if they want
it. Awesome, guys. Well, this has been an awesome discussion. Any other thoughts or questions or things that someone is like dying to get out there that they didn't get a chance to? Paul, apparently, as he zooms into the camera.
No, I'm waiting for someone to speak up.
Oh my gosh.
With anticipation.
Wow.
Wait for someone to speak up.
Thank you.
Can you sign off like Lothar from the Hill People?
Thank you, everyone, for this amazing spiritual speculation, and for myself, for Paul, for Drew, for Dallas, and for Nate, we bid you all shalom.
That means peace.
Crap.
Why'd
you go to babyface?
Paul, that was the scariest filter you've ever activated before, ever. Because I took my eyes away from the screen and I brought it on, and it was just like 6-year-old you just sitting in a chair.
That is scary.
See, this baby doesn't look anything like me. I don't know what's going on with this.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy talk right
I don't
now.
like
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Face just elongates.
Well, thank you guys so much. Everyone watching the stream, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end it. So if you guys can join me in a stream face, that'd be fantastic. But praying you all have an awesome rest of your weekend. Forgot the camera's there, and though the screen I'm talking to is over there. But okay, Paul, babyface Paul. But we pray you all have a great rest of your weekend. And we will be back tomorrow morning for Sarah Kid Adventures, but tomorrow night is canceled. Will not be streaming tomorrow night. So just tomorrow morning for Sarah Kid Adventures and playing Mario Kart Deluxe 8. If you want to join us for the community game at 9 a.m. Pacific time. All right, guys. What, Paul?
11 for the rest of us normal people.
Oh my gosh. Not everyone is central, Drew. Anyway,
a lot of us are.
Here's your stream face.
I'll be on my way to watch Uncharted.
Woohoo!